What do you do when your motivation starts to slip? Goals that seemed inspiring at the beginning become boring after just a few weeks. That's why you need to be able to build discipline and habits. In today's episode, we will talk about motivation, discipline, and I'll finish it off with an inspiring story from Ladislav, who is on his weight loss journey. Hello friend, if you are joining me for the first time, welcome. I'm your host Daniel Weiss, a certified nutrition coach, educator and an athlete. I've created this show to help you understand and simplify nutrition so you can focus on making educated choices and observe how your body starts feeling, looking and performing better. I've been working with people who simply want to look and feel better, recreational as well as elite athletes who want to challenge themselves, but also with fitness professionals. I know that becoming a better, fitter version of yourself will not be possible without the right mindset and habits that will get you through the hard times. So that is why I cover these topics as well. I would also like to bring to your attention the nutrition guides, meal plans, and other resources that I have created over the years, and you can get them for free at danweiss.eu/guides. Look, it's just start of the February and pretty much start of the new year, and some people are already abandoning their new year resolutions or things that they really dreamt about achieving. So here is some motivation and inspiration for you today. It's important to understand that change is slow, especially when we are learning new things and forming new habits. So changing what you eat, how you move and how you work out, but also in any other area of your life takes time. What we are doing and what we are capable of doing may not be enough to get you the desired results. Whatever you were doing before led you to the results that you have right now. That's important to understand. So you need to start doing either something more or longer or better to get different results. For example, some people have to start counting calories, and that is a huge effort for them. While they are learning that skill, they might not be seeing progress on their body for weeks, and that can be really demotivating. But they are building a skill and habits that will help them get their desired results later. So it's always good to invest into developing the skills and habits, even if in the short term it doesn't directly translate to the results themselves. For someone else, it might be grocery shopping or strength training that takes so much effort. So whatever change you want to achieve, you have to step out of your comfort zone. It shouldn't be too far, but it shouldn't be also really comfortable. So there is a good area where you feel sufficiently challenged, that it's inspiring, you feel like you are moving somewhere, and every small win feels really good to you, but it's not so far away from your current abilities that you feel overwhelmed and you don't take action. Here is Courtney DeWalter, probably one of the most decorated female ultra runners in the sport.
Trying something that's way too hard or sounds way too hard, whether you get it or not, is not the point. It's like we sign up for or we go after these things that are a few bars higher up than our level that feels comfortable. And then it's more about the journey of going after the thing. Like falling short of it, that's okay. I don't think we should be scared to try things and fail.
Learning to navigate your nutrition is like learning to play a musical instrument. For example, you buy a guitar and after a week you say, well, I've been practicing really hard. Why I'm not saying getting any results that I want. Stupid, right? The problem is that people think it's different with food, because we eat 3 times a day, so therefore we should already know how to eat and eat for your specific goals. Just because you eat doesn't mean that you know how to eat. If it were so easy, people would not be struggling with those things. Often, it is not the nutrition part that is problematic, but the practical part. It's beneficial if you know all the tricks, how to manipulate your diet to make it easier for yourself. It's also beneficial if you have systems in place, such as regular meal prep, to support your goal. It's beneficial if you can cook meals with ease, if you are skilled at that. But there is one essential skill that's not talked about, and that is emotional regulation. It helps you to stay disciplined when you don't see progress, when it takes longer than you expected, or when things get really hard. So let me tell you a short story. When I started running back in 2015, I admired people who go run every day, in any weather, any time of the day. Those people who get kicked sand in their eyes and ask for more. And I strived to be like them because, putting the fork down and putting the running shoes on and putting your game face on, it's quite uncommon nowadays. And David Goggins was one such example for me, or a role model. And if you know him, he's tough as nails. And he has overcome many obstacles in his life. His alcoholic father physically abused him, he was bullied at school, and he also ran ultramarathons with broken legs, lost 50 kilos, about 110 pounds in 3 months, by eating just 800 calories a day and exercising for hours. And he completed several special operation trainings. But here is a different view. I used to think that I was highly disciplined because I would get up every morning at 5:30 a.m. and run before work, then again exercise after work and not take any day off, track every gram of my food, and more and more and more. I was always optimizing, and all these things become really comfortable for me, but not sustainable and not productive for my goals. So hard things have different forms. For one person, discipline means ordering a salad to stay in a calorie deficit. For another person, discipline means ordering pizza without tracking calories. Discipline and toughness on the outside can also be an adaptation to trauma. Although it's much better than abusing drugs, really resilient people can regulate their emotions. So for example, they accept them, they don't push them down or run away from them. So the emotional regulation in practice can look like that. Like when you don't exercise, you don't beat yourself up about it and feel frustrated. You move on. When you overeat one day or don't hit your protein goals or anything like that, you don't throw away all your progress. You accept it and continue. If you want to be resilient, you need to be resilient physically, mentally, and emotionally. And again, Courtney on staying in the game long term.
I keep Joy in the front seat of the car. Like Joy is driving the car. And if that's ever not true, then it will be like a full reassessment of what's going on. Because I want it to stay fun and I want it to be something I do my entire life. And if Joy is driving, then the things I'm doing along the route are going to be because I love them, because they're fun, because they bring me that joy.
And now here is the promised inspiring story from Ladislav. You don't need a strict diet to make healthy choices. In the world of health and fitness, we are often bombarded with news of extreme transformations. We can get the feeling that changes like these require hours of grueling exercise and a lock on the fridge. But what would it look like if it were actually easy? Imagine a 43-year-old man who used to bike daily and the weight never bothered him. It wasn't until later, when he settled down with a change in lifestyle and 2 young children, that the excess weight came along. Ladislav wrote to me back in January 2024. I am 43 years old and losing weight for the first time. I never had a problem with weight. Now the problem is that we have small children, 14 and 26 months old. And since the birth of the first one, I have completely dropped out of sports. Before I used to play football, go to gym 4 times a week, or even a cycle for about 1500 kilometers a year. That's about 1000 miles. That was on average about 3 hours a day. Later I started overeating, plus drinking different sugary drinks like fruit juices or water with syrup. Since I have had small children, I do absolutely nothing. I couldn't fit it into my schedule. Now I just don't like that 105 kilogram number on the scale. Ladislav decided to do something about it, and here is what Ladislav changed in a month. I stopped eating after 6 p.m. and eliminated sugary drinks. We often make water with syrup for the kids or give them fruit juice diluted with water, and when I had it on the table at home, I would often get a sip. When I excluded it, the extra weight started falling off. I was quite surprised how little was needed, but we will see how it goes from here. I'm ready to incorporate other steps and have more to cut down on. For example, my diet is really bad. I'm pretty much slacking on takeouts and ordering heavy meals. Later in summer, I also want to add more sports. As Ladislav wrote, there is no need to make huge changes, and when you are just starting out, even those small changes will show up quickly. And it's easier to adapt and maintain small changes. Here, Ladislav again. Mostly, I think it's hard to step out of a comfort zone. We all live in some patterns, or how to describe it, and we experience every day the same way. I have a friend who is about 120 kilos, that's about 240 pounds, and he keeps gaining weight. He gets up at 6:30, he goes to work, has a lunch there, comes home at about 3:30 p.m, goes for a beer or lies in front of the TV. He doesn't do anything outside of that pattern because it's not comfortable for him. The hardest thing really is to realize that our current state is the result of what we've been doing and to accept responsibility for it. Ladislav: I do have young children, but that's also basically just an excuse, because I can manage go to shopping, I can manage to go to work, so I'm sure there would be half an hour for sports as well. But on the other hand, I'd rather be with my kids than play sports, so I have that imaginary excuse. Haha. I suppose if I'm 95 kilos, my body will have it a bit easier. I also realize that my kids are 1 and 2 now, but when they are 9 and 10, I will want to run and play with them outside, play soccer, bike, whatever. And so I can't neglect myself now. So these are some really huge points that Ladislav brought up. Having that why that is inspiring for you is really huge. And I see that many fathers start to neglect their diet, neglect their activities when they have newborn kids. And for that reason, the weight starts to pile on until one day, usually later than sooner, they realize it's just too much. So it's better to avoid this, of course, But if you are already in that state that you need to cut down and you care about your health and you care about what you will be able to do, not now, but maybe in a year or 5 years or 10 years, that's what's important. And the best way how to prepare for that is to never sleep. So start taking care of yourself now. Be inspiration for your children. If you need some more inspiration, I have interviews and articles with people and from my clients, case studies of fathers with newborn children, and all of them not only improved their health, they also improved their fitness while bringing up their children, and without spending hours and hours in the gym or doing any kind of super restrictive dieting. So thank you for listening. If you enjoyed this episode, please like, share and subscribe, and leave a good rating. 5-star review is always appreciated as it makes this podcast more visible. As always, you can find related resources linked in the podcast description. And also don't forget about the free resources that you can find at my website danweiss.eu/guides. If you have a question, the best way how to submit it is by sending it to my social media profiles that are linked in the description below.